That how would you define or what is parenting in your viewpoint with your experience? What it is?
Mhm. Well, parenting is the name of an attitude in which parents, of course, need to nurture and nourish their children. And as the term generally applies, it's a bunch of attitudes, or I would say, an amalgam of attitudes which parents generally adopt in order to rear their children. And at times they do it naturally, as if it comes to them naturally. But I think that in this world of today, it's a skill and it's an art that parents must learn. And the best part to learn is actually when they are growing up. They've not yet become parents. Like, for example, when they are studying in a university or a college in the later part of their degree courses, something regarding parenting must be introduced at a formal level so that they can get instruction before they enter parenthood. So, in my experience, what often happens is that the time for parenting generally comes when parents have actually lost charge of their children, or the children have gone away from them and they suddenly realize that they've done something wrong. So, it's generally too late. And I think that gaining experience from various episodes, it will be well in line that all of us pay heed to this very important subject, because, in my humble personal view, the biggest investment which parents can make in this world is their children. And there's no bigger an investment than their children. And if they make a mess out of it, then they should realize what a big loss they have actually suffered. And then what happens is that generally there is an awakening in the later part of their lives, and then they try to be better grandparents, because they could never be good parents. So sometimes I find parents becoming better grandparents because they realize that they did something wrong and they would like to make amends. But having said that, as I said, the best part of, or the right age for parenting is when parenthood is still a long way to go and you are still yourself, maybe a teenager or a young adult, and that would be the right time, I would say.
But do you think that people do admit that they did mistakes as a parent?
Well, I have
I
been
mean,
conducting workshops and sessions all over the world, and I do think that there are two types of parents.
mhm.
There are some parents who do realize and confess, and they do think that something has been wrong, and there are others who, because of their own, I would say, I would be slightly sorry to say that, because of their own self-righteousness, they still think that they are doing the right thing, and they don't realize that whatever they are doing is actually pushing their children away from them. And what they generally think is the children are on the wrong side. So such parents often think that they are right and the children have a wrong attitude. And they are basically remnants of our Desi culture, especially the Eastern culture, because in that culture, as you would be knowing, parents have virtually dictatorial authority on their children, and hence they would still like to exercise this authority. And because they themselves faced the same authority when they were growing up, so what they do is that they just replicate the whole procedure, and this goes on in circles, and it has
Till
actually
you become conscious.
either you become conscious, and I've
Or
seen unfortunately parents who never become conscious.
yeah,
So that does take its toll as well.
that's true.